So I heard you had some questions about the bright spots data that you've collected.
Yeah, I can't understand why our total engagement scores went down compared to last month.
I told you, Princess, I think there's some kind of mistake in here. There's no way these numbers are right. We are better than this.
Well, I can see you're upset about this report.
Frankly, I don't even see a point in doing these reports. Sorry, you can quote me on that. I mean, I know I missed the orientation when I was out on extended leave, but what's the point in doing these observations when all we get back are these depressing reports?
Great point, and we'll get back to that. But first, let's look at this report together, okay? Look at page 2. All right, do you see the breakdown there? It shows everything in more detail. You see that the numbers, when broken down, really are pretty much the same as they were last month.
Well, that's a relief at least.
But we still only have 40-something% engagement. That means 60% of the time we're doing a bad job.
So let's back up to what you said earlier, April, about the point of these reports. They show us what we're doing really well. 40% of the time, staff and residents are really engaging, and that's what we call active engagement on the tool.
But it's just 40-something%.
Okay, think about it like this though. 40% is really amazing. 40% of the time we see active engagement. We just really don't know what's happening the rest of the time. I mean, it could be passive engagement, but we just don't know based on this report.
So we could be doing even better than indicated. We could be like 40% of the time active engagement and 40% of the time passive engagement. That's a lot better than no engagement.
Sure, we just don't know.
So really, we just need to dig deeper?
Well, that's right to a certain extent, but in another way, everything you need is right here in this data.
I don't see anything.
How did you collect the data?
Through observations?
Exactly. Okay, so the data is one piece. Direct observation is part 1. Those observations give you data, which is then part 2. And then that data doesn't really mean anything until you've discussed it. That's part 3. So honestly, you don't even really need this report. You've done the observations, staff's done the observations. All you really need to do then is talk about it.
I had my staff do the observation.
Okay, and so do you do huddles to talk about those observations?
I keep meaning to, but I never seem to have the time.
Well, but don't you have other meetings, other huddles with your staff?
We do have shift change huddles.
And could you have bright spots discussion during those times?
But we don't always have these reports to look at.
But you don't really need the reports. You do the observations, your staff does the observations. I can guarantee you that any time during some of those observations, there's been a bright spot, and that's what you discuss.
We could talk about bright spots at the end of shift change, I guess.
Or at the beginning. Maybe it would be good to start off the huddle with something positive.
Well, I think that's a terrific idea.
So we would ask, what bright spots did you see yesterday? That's how we'll start out. What then?
Well, let me ask you this. What bright spots did you see yesterday?
Oh, I have one. I did an observation yesterday. You know Mrs. Rowland. She never really does much of anything. She just kind of sits there. But yesterday, we turned on some music and she started tapping her feet and smiling. She really got into it.
Yeah, I saw that. She was totally different than usual. It was amazing.
Had no idea she liked music so much.
You know, it was the blues. Maybe that's what did it.
Maybe we should do that more often, like put the music on first thing in the morning when she gets up to start her day off right. My staff's lives would be so much easier if she were happier and into what she was doing.
Right, we could ask her family to bring in some CDs. She have that CD player in her room.
We could let everyone know it's shift change. That way all the staff will know what to do.
We could talk about it during bright spots at the beginning of the huddle.
You know, I've got some stickers left over. We could put these on people we see doing bright spot things.
Give me those.
What's that for?
Well, I think you found a bright spot with Mrs. Rowland.
Well, thank you guys for helping me think it through.
Okay, you guys, I don't think you need me anymore. I think you have this bright spots and huddles discussion down pat.
Yep. See you later.
Bye. You know, I could make a bright spots board and we could put it in the break room, and that way we could chart when we see people doing bright spot things.
And you know what else we could do?